This story is about a little witch. She lives all alone except for all her cats who get very hungry. Her name is Wittlida and she needs a job. There were cats on the table, cats on the chairs, cats on the couch, the bookshelf, the stairs. Every half-starved little cat that no one else wanted seemed to find its way into Wittilda's heart and into Wittilda's kitchen. Wittilda loved every single one of them, but it was getting hard to feed them. They didn't like her batwing stew or her roasted frogs, which was all she knew how to cook. And there were no mice anywhere in her house now. We're down to our last dried up rat, Wittilda worried. Meow? The cats queried. Meow? There's only one thing to do, Wittilda decided. I'll have to get a job. I know what, I'll go talk to my aunt. Maybe I can work for her at her hair salon. Wittilda kissed 47 soft little noses and set off for her aunt's hair palace. Eventually, Aunt Bort was persuaded to give Wittilda a job. I know what you can do. Go over there and comb Mrs. Hat-Track's hair, Aunt Bort grunted. Wittilda began to comb. This is boring, she thought. I know what I can do. I can do something better than that. Mrs. Hat-Track's hair reminded Wittilda of a spider web. She began making little knots here and little knots there, and pretty soon Mrs. Hat-Track's hair found out into an enormous spider web. Something's missing, Wittilda thought, but she reached down in her pocket and found a spider. She placed it on top of the hair. Don't move, she told Mrs. Hat-Track, and the spider was very still. She sprayed him until he shined. This is beautiful, she told Mrs. Hat-Track. Mrs. Hat-Track finally looked up from her magazine. "Ah!" she screamed. "Wittilda, what have you done?" said her aunt. "I thought it was pretty," said Wittilda. "You're fired," said Aunt Bort. Glumly, Wittilda walked home. "I got fired," she told the cats. "Hiss," the cats said. They were very hungry all day. Wittilda looked in the newspaper for some jobs. Carpenter, secretary, exterminator. Rats, she muttered. Then her eyes lit up as she read, delivery person wanted in the evenings, must have own transportation, come in and talk to the boss at Ding-a-Ling Pizza. That will be perfect, she cackled. Then she blew 47 kisses and grabbed her broom and ran out. She skidded to a stop just outside Ding-a-Ling Pizza. She had to wait in a line of lots of people. When the doors came open, out came the boss, Joe Ding-a-Ling. His arms were full of pizza boxes. "Here you go, Joe. 5 pizzas each to deliver, and the first one who delivers all of them and gets back here is the one that gets the job." Arms and legs flew everywhere as everyone grabbed a sack of pizzas and raced away. Wittilda got on her broom and chanted, "Notions and potions, buzzard stew, curdle a girdle with rattlesnake glue, rickety rackety my one green eye, loomity bloomity, time to fly." And she shot up into the air. She dipped and swooped through the air to the first house on her list. There was Mrs. Pink, very surprised to be getting her pizza so soon. "Extraordinary," she said as she counted out the money for the pizza. Wittilda whizzed around the block to the Muzzle House, and then up the street to the Zippets, and then she flew around to Mr. Boney's. She knocked and knocked. Finally, Mr. Boney came to the door. "Thank you," he whispered, dropping the money 1 penny at a time into Wittilda's hand. She was dancing foot to foot because she wanted to hurry. At last she was on her way. "Oh, I'm making the best time. I'm going to win the job," she said. As she was rising up in the air, Wittilda heard a tiny sound, so she slowed her broom down to listen better. She looked around. Then she saw it, a bit of white, way up high in a tree, trapped the poor little thing. Just then, a motorcycle roared around the corner. It was one of the people trying for the job at Ding-a-Ling's Pizza. Oh dear, what shall I do? If I stop to help the kitten, someone else will get the job. And maybe I could come back later. She began to float away, and then she heard, "Meow." "Wait, I'm coming," said Wittlida. "Don't worry." Wittlida scrambled into a low branch, but the twig snapped at her clothes and caught her hair, and she crawled up. "Meow." The kitty stared at her with wide, scared eyes. "Here, kitty, kitty." Wittlida reached up. "Come here, baby." Inch by inch, the kitten got closer. As Wittlida reached out to grab the kitten, a sudden whoosh of wind shook the tree, and Wittlida and the kitten plummeted down to the ground, head over heels. "Are you all right?" asked Wittlida. "Wow," said the kitten, who'd landed on top of a pizza. "Let's go," said Wittlida. Luckily, the last house was Mrs. Noodle's house, and she was on her front porch waiting. Wittlida tossed her the pizza onto her lap. "Here's your pizza," she said, and then she took the money out of her hand. Mrs. Noodle was kind of dazed, but Wittlida spun around and headed back to the Ding-a-Lings. Wittlida had never flown so fast before. The wind whipped her hair and her cloak. Joe's mouth dropped open when she came in seconds later. "How'd you do it? It's only been 15 minutes. Wittilda's eyes were dancing as Joe slapped her on the back. "The job is yours, sister. Here, have some pizza." That night, Wittlida tripped lightly up the front stairs and opened the door. "I'm home," she sang. "I got the job." Prrr, prrr, prrr. 48 cats tried to rub her legs. "I just love it," and Wittlida set the Ding-a-Ling special combo pizza on the table. "You're going to love it too." And they all did. They loved Ding-a-Ling pizza. Way to go, Wittlida.